allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call. Paul Seymour. Here. Andy Lyons.
Present.
Show Tom Schneider is not present. Mike Knoll.
Here.
Dave Staub.
Here.
Jim Kittle. Here. Randy Tyler. Here. Greg McAdams.
Here.
Jared Eubank is present. Heather Schell.
Here.
All present except for Mr. Schneider.
And he's on his way. Okay, has everyone had a chance? I was not here and Paul was not here on the minutes of 10/16/2025, but does anyone have any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
I have a motion that Dave Staub to approve the 10/16/2025 minutes. Do I have a second? Second, Mike Knoll, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. I'll bring those over to you, Heather, in a minute. How about approval of the minutes of 11/18/2028? The only question I have is Jared, on who was there. Jared was not there.
That date you just read is wrong. You said 2028.
Oh,
It's on the agenda though.
oh, I'm sorry, you're right. 2025. So, and Jared, help me, we just made these.
You just sign it. You just get to say that nothing else was talked about besides what was employment issues.
So we need a motion to approve these. Do I have a motion?
The date's wrong on the minutes too.
Yeah.
It says December 4th, 2024.
Okay, wasn't on my game. Okay,
November 18th,
Okay.
2024.
November.
so we're gonna make the change November 18th, 2024 at 9 o'clock, and we're gonna take Jared off 2025.
Can't be right.
Are we filming?
Yes.
What? Look, don't laugh. I've started off a little rough here. Okay. All right, now after those changes, anybody else got any changes else?
Real quickly, make it.
All right,
I'll motion this up.
motion by Randy Tyler, do I have a second?
Second.
Greg, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Mike wasn't there. Okay. Next, approval of the agenda. The only change I saw, and I missed this too, is, and Greg caught it too, 6:30, where we have the agenda, we're gonna start at 6:30, we're not, we're starting at 4:30, everyone's here. So we'll change that for the future. And then we'll change the approval of the minutes, that's the executive session, we'll get that changed. Anything else? Anybody want to add or say anything else about the agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Dave Stiles, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Andy Lyons, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so the agenda's approved, with those couple minor changes. How about approval of the monthly claims and vouchers? I will make one comment. When I looked this over, I caught it too late, is we forgot to, if you see somebody's name and there's no money next to it, we forgot to delete those from last month. So in other words, I'll give you an example, about 5 down, Aurora Tire Center. It's blank. We don't have anything to pay them, but we forgot to delete that from last month. So anything where you have empty, since second page, the one that really caught my eye was the railroad. You know, we're not paying, there's zero there, we're not paying the railroad. We should have deleted those. But besides that, I didn't see anything.
SWS Environmental Cleaning Pump Station 5, it's out front here. Full of mud,
Three years worth.
3 years worth of mud, just
Went all the way back to, I forget how many manholes, but I would say it was past the curb that build up. It starts flowing back at a certain point, so I had them go back probably about 100 feet past the road in all 5 of them. And then I also invited, Austin Cook over to have a conversation with him to see if, and now this has been brought up years in the past that I've tried to get him to do something because there's no mystery about where that mud comes from.
It's all silt from inside that racetrack. I
That's
brought it up
exactly right.
20 times over the years.
And I brought it up and Austin, of course, he has his hands tied. He's only gonna be able to do what they let him do, but he told me, he said, I'll try to get something done. And I had him come over and look at it and, you know, this is, we usually do it every year. However, SWS has sold in the last 4 years, I think they sold twice, maybe 3 times. And I finally told them, look, guys, if you're not gonna do it, I'm gonna hook up with somebody else because I can't not get my work done. They do us a good job. Rob's still working with them. I do want to use them, but they finally came down and did it. But there was quite a bit more there than there should have been.
At times, they do put up the silt fencing around the catch basins
Couple
over
of catch
there.
basins, yeah.
Yeah, but
But
they
they have,
don't maintain it.
they have to maintain them.
Yeah, they don't.
If they don't maintain them, we're gonna, it could be, I don't know if it could be prevented, but I know it could be helped.
Oh, yeah.
And it seems like they wanna help it and do something to maintain it, because there's a large amount.
Yeah.
Well, how much would it cost to fix it the right, what you want to do? I mean, what needs to be done and how much would it cost?
I don't think they'll ever stop all the silt.
Oh.
They need to put in some decent silt control. They have basically zero most of the time.
Hmm.
They need to put in decent silt control, and then they need to clean their station every time it rains, basically.
Yeah.
If there's some
Really?
not perfect, yeah.
And I've actually witnessed them open their pits with the pumps in, and I know you two witnessed it to the point to where you couldn't even see the equipment.
Right, there's just a cone in the mud around the pumps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and that can't be good on equipment like that.
Well, I've went over before and the door wasn't even all the way shut. So, you know, if water gets up, obviously, it's just gonna flow right in.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's all I have.
anybody else got any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the vouchers.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dave Stott, second. Second by Mike Noel, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay.
Jim, you might wanna make a note that Mr.
Oh,
Snyder come in.
yeah,
Just
glad
for
you're
the-
here, Tom.
For the notes. Oh, that's.
Okay, first up, under, new business, I was under a time constraint. I needed to get out with a letter of support for a potential grant for a, bicycle pedestrian project for the city of Greendale. Vince reached out to me, and I just put this letter in there for everyone to see. So I just wanted to disclose that letter to you guys. Next, under unfinished business, Paul, you want to give us an update on the 2 council meetings? And we'll approve those, ratify those minutes here and after you get done, is that?
Just simply, in both the meetings I went in, and all I was trying to get was a meeting, and we're working on it right now. I know that, Andrew and Andy, their lawyer, are trying to come up with a date, and I believe the date's gonna be sometime in early to mid-January. But all I wanted was give us a chance to educate you, let us have a meeting, let us bring our experts in. And both councilman and commissioner were very cooperative and they granted it. So we will get something set up to bring in our experts and meet. I don't know where it'll be all of them, but it sounds like it could be. So we want to also have our, whoever we can round up to get us there to support us too. So as soon as we know the date, I'll let you guys know. We don't know it yet.
Looks like January then.
That's pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't make it to the first presentation on 11/13, but 11/18, I was there and Paul got up and said a few words, and I think it was well received by the three, that was the commissioners meeting, right? Yeah, the
Right.
three commissioners, I think they appreciated the heads up and asked for any information. It was good. Okay, if there's no any questions, I guess, do I have a motion to approve?
The first one, the council meeting, Mike Knoll was also there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which one?
November 13th.
Meeting.
Good catch. I wasn't there. So let's add Heather, add Mike Knoll, and I'll re-sign another one. Okay, with that addition, how about to have a motion to approve the November 13th meeting minutes?
Make a motion.
First by Greg, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Randy, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So we'll approve those minutes, and then any changes on November 18th. Seems like we had somebody else here. I think that was it. So do I have a motion on the November 18th minutes?
So moved.
First by Tom, second.
I wasn't there.
I would
I'd
have
be here.
Second by Mike.
Mike.
Yep, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay. All right, we're down to, thanks, Dash, for heading that up and going to those meetings. We're now on grant project, and Andrew, hey, Byrne, we've got you down to kind of give us some update on Aaron Houchin's office staff application.
Yep, I can start there.
Okay.
And then I got Jamie with me tonight and Mike Gerard. You guys probably haven't met Mike yet. Mike
Hey, Mike.
recently started at JMT, come over from FEMA. And actually did a lot of benefit cost analysis reviews when he was at FEMA. So both Jamie and Mike are gonna give you guys an update on the BCA progress that we've made so far on that supplement task order you guys gave us a little bit ago. I'll start with Representative Houchin. So I did submit an application. Actually, I got it in today, and the amount requested was a little over $6 million, which is the estimated amount for engineering and permitting. Because of the funding limitations on that program, the full amount of 67 plus million for engineering, permitting, and construction wasn't going to be feasible from my understanding. So that's why we put in for engineering and permitting. That'll get us shovel ready, which will then hopefully, once some other federal funding opportunities open up, should we be successful in getting this, then we'll be ready to go to get to construction, to get the funding for construction. So that's where it is. I need to gather up a little bit more information. Heather, I sent you an email earlier today about just making sure I have all the letters of support that you all have received, as well as the final resolutions from you guys and the cities to email over to them as a follow-up. They asked for that information. And then also any newspaper articles or press, public information related to the two projects that we're working on. And then we have obviously sign-in sheets and other materials from the public meetings that we've done that we'll incorporate. So I need to follow up with them with an email separately. They asked for that separately, so I'll send it over to them, as soon as we can get that information pulled together. But yeah, it's in, Jim. So like I said, I'm going to follow up with an email, and I'll ping Representative Houchin's office, John Van Buren and Michael Grimm, about making sure they got everything in the application. Okay.
So are you talking to Michael Grimm? Is that who your contact is, or mostly you're talking to, Vern?
It's both of them. I
Okay.
think Jeff Van Buren is the
Oh,
guy that's in
good.
DC.
Yep, that's right.
And he's the point of contact for the application, but I'm gonna copy Grim, he's the one I know that came and met with Paul a month ago or two. And he's kind of more of the local rep that goes around, the local staffer. So I'm gonna make sure both those guys are in the loop. And then, probably Grim I'll start with, and just follow up, because I think Van Buren's a little bit more difficult to get a hold of, but that's my game plan.
Okay, thanks. Anybody got any
Um,
questions on that? Okay, go ahead, Berm, if you want to lead into.
Yeah, and then before Jamie and Mike go, the other thing you guys mentioned, the meeting with the county, so Andy Bodendistel, I screwed his name up. We're looking at January 29th, Paul, is the date that he's honing in on. And he was wondering the time of day that would work best. He has a conflict, I think at 4 p.m. So he said an evening meeting could work that day, or if we need to do something during the daytime hours, we could look at that too. So I wanted to put that out to you guys tonight to think about, and you can circle back with me whenever.
Well, from my point of view here, Berm, I mean, I need those 10 individuals that are gonna be voting here, and I think it's really important. I don't wanna lose 3 of them because we pick a time of day that 3 of them can't come. You think? So I would rather you approach Andy and approach it as, when can we get the most people there? What's the best date for that group?
Okay.
Date and time.
Time.
The
Time.
time.
I
The
should
time,
say time.
maybe evening.
Yeah, he said a few of them were out earlier that week, because there's a conference going on that a few of them were gonna be at, but it looked like Thursday, everybody was back and they were gonna be okay for that date, which is what we were gonna try to target, so.
The
I'll
problem
reply
is I
back.
know there's 3 or 4 of them guys that are still working.
Mhm.
So I don't want my guys picking 10 in the morning if those guys are gonna be working.
Okay.
So, you know, I think Tim Dahl,
Super.
there's a few of them still working.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, but it's their job to get the people here for us. It's their job,
That's my point.
yes.
Work on them. We'll be there. But I think, I don't want to eliminate people because we picked a bad time. That's all. That's what I think you understand what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and completely, I'll reply back to Andrew tomorrow and let him know. Evening might be best, to be honest, but I'll put it to him how you kind of put it to me. Whatever gets them, enables the most of them to be able to attend. We'll work around that. So.
Okay.
Okay. So then the other thing, like I said, is Jamie and Mike are here. So Jamie, you want to flip through these slides? I think I already talked about the next slide a little bit. I think I covered it. We were going to do the updated benefit cost ratio. We talked about community project funding, and then supporting, just general support. I did want to mention we reached back out to FEMA to check in on the LAMP study. Because when we met with them earlier this year, we had left it. We were going to follow up in the fall, which we did at the end of September, early October. They said they'd get back to us. We haven't heard anything yet. So I think Jamie, maybe next week before we get into Thanksgiving, it might be good to just ping them again and see where they're at with the study, just to keep on their radar. And then we did sit in on the one meeting. I wasn't here in October, but I think it was back before the last meeting with you guys. We did sit in on with Luke and Mundell on the update from the Army Corps on Lawrenceburg risk management. So maybe Luke will give you that update later. But we weren't able to sit in on that meeting. So So yeah, I'm gonna turn it over to Jamie now. He and Mike are gonna run through the benefit cost analysis and the ratio and kind of where we are, like I said. So go ahead, Jamie.
All right, great, thanks. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, good to be with you all again. Our last presentation to you on the benefit cost analysis was back in June, just after the government changed the discount rate, and that action is what prompted this supplemental task order that we've been working under for the last few months, and trying to bring back up the benefit cost ratios for the project. So just going back and looking at that, so we had submitted our draft report to you in May, and we had our benefit cost ratio well above 1 at that time for the overall project. And then after the discount rate changed, it essentially cut that value in half. And so it kind of got us scrambling a little bit, trying to see what we could do to raise it back up. So this slide is just, we developed the tasks under this supplement to try to capture as many realistic additional benefits as we could for the project. And so this is just a listing of these various tasks and what we set out to do. We wanted to substitute FEMA's default building replacement values with better estimates of those for both residential and non-residential buildings across the project footprint. We wanted to look at costs associated with utility damages, also costs associated with road and bridge damages, and the loss of service as well as the repair. We're looking at displacement costs, so sort of the temporary housing and business rental that would be needed in the event of a flood. We're looking at critical facilities costs and social costs, and then finally we're looking at estimating a more customized estimate of content costs for select businesses within the project. And that's involved sending out questionnaires and asking those business owners to estimate how much they would stand to lose in material goods and equipment based on a given flood depth outside that building. So for tasks 1 through 7, we're essentially completed with those. And for number 8 here, that's still in progress as those questionnaires come back to us. So what I'll do now is just spend like one slide on each of these various tasks and kind of let you know where we are and what we're seeing in terms of trying to help the project. So for residential buildings, for homes, we replaced the previous estimate of $162 per square foot with our updated value, which is $232 per square foot. And those are based on Dave Staub's recent home construction projects. So thank you, Dave, for providing those to us. And as you can see, it did improve our benefit value quite a bit. Not quite 12 million for overall. Unfortunately, it didn't help with the Greendale because the at-risk residential properties over there are mobile homes. And so we didn't think it was realistic to put that kind of square foot value on mobile homes, but it did help us quite a bit in Lawrenceburg using that updated value. And then similarly for non-residential buildings, we used RS Means, which is an estimating tool to tabulate building replacement estimates for about 320 structures combined over Lawrenceburg and Greendale. And we saw like a pretty wide range of values from around $120 a square foot up to close to $800 per square foot, just depending on the building type and the size of the building. But all of those estimates that we did came back above the $100 per square foot default value that we had used previously. So we saw a substantial increase in benefit through that exercise. And as you can see there, over 25 million. So that was good to see. And it was gratifying too, because that's probably the task that we spent most of our time on under this supplement. So I think that was definitely time well spent. But the average overall worked out to about just under $300 per square foot, so almost triple what we were using before. And for utility damages, so working with LCD and with Paul closely, we anticipate that 3 electrical power substations and 2 communication facilities would be damaged by a flooding event. And so the way those benefits are tabulated is a rate based on per person per day that you can see there, 213 for power and 151 for communications. And so the key to figuring up those benefits is trying to estimate how long that service is going to be out. And so there's really 2 parts to this. The first is trying to estimate how long it's going to take for the floodwaters to recede. And then once that's done, estimating how much time it would take to get in there and restore service. And so for this, I believe we estimated 10 days to restore service. And I think Jen, somebody else on our team, looked at Hurricane Katrina and some of the reporting that came out of that, how long it took to get these various utilities back online following that flood event, which seemed like it would be comparable to something that we're talking about here for this project. So we saw benefits both in Lawrenceburg and Greendale, just about $3 million increase overall by looking at utilities. Okay, I think, Mike, were you gonna talk about roads and bridges?
Yeah, thanks, Jamie. Everybody hear me good?
Yes.
Cool. So yeah, one of the other subtasks that we looked at here was roads and bridge damages. Basically only looked at US 50 East Parkway through there, because that's the main thoroughfare through the town. We got some data from the Indiana DOT, about 33,000 one-way traffic detours per day. And what this benefit does is calculates the loss of service based on the detour due to a road closure. So we used our flood modeling there to determine, how long or how deep the floods would be. And as Jamie was talking about before, we estimated our time that the road would be inundated, and then also added some extra time there to account for initial repairs to the roadway. We also had a JMT engineer generate a roadway repair estimate, which helps bring up the benefit there. We got a little bit over 4 million for the road closures there. And you can go to the next one, Jamie. Displacement costs, again, these weren't included in the first BCA run, but we updated it to $500 plus $1.44 per square foot per month for residential. And then the non-residential formula is similar, but it's based on building type. So restaurant, office space, fast food, et cetera. So that's let's see. Yeah, this is just temporary housing or business space while the damage is repaired. And this also brought our benefit up a little over, about 6.5 million, which definitely helped. And then another big one was the critical facilities loss of service, and this one looked at police, fire and rescue, the county and city municipal services there, and the school buildings. And this takes into consideration the loss of service, especially from the police and fire. And then also the loss of service from the county. We took into consideration the emergency management agency there, the county jail, all of the city of Lawrenceburg buildings. And this also actually includes the LCD buildings, since that houses some pretty vital equipment to monitoring the levees. And we got about 11.5 million of benefit for that. And social benefits. So FEMA allows for residential properties, social benefits, and they've done a formula to basically calculate the costs associated with mental stress, anxiety, lost wages, things like that disaster survivors would experience during a displacement from their residence. And we got a pretty significant benefit for Lawrenceburg just because that's where most of the residential properties were at risk. And Greendale, a slight benefit there as well. And I think you're on this one, Jamie, right?
Yes, yes. So, the last additional costs and benefits that we're looking at is for these customized content costs. And so we've, with LCD's assistance, of course, we've targeted a number of businesses. I think most of them are in Greendale, but there are a handful also in Lawrenceburg. So in our previous analysis, the contents are just handled as basically as a percentage of the building costs. So if we have reason to believe that the contents are more valuable than that, then we want to go through this process of reaching out to those businesses and giving them a chance to complete the questionnaire and estimate what the content values are. And so I think to date, we've received questionnaires back from MGPI and the Ford dealership. So the numbers that we're showing there are reflective of those two responses. And so as we get more of those questionnaires turned in, hopefully we'll see these numbers climb up. But that's kind of a snapshot of where we are right now for this task. And again, hopefully more of those will be coming, and we can process those and get that number to continue to climb.
And Jamie, while you're right there, I want to give you a small update. Me and Jimmy have a meeting scheduled next Tuesday with the mayor of Greendale and Mike Burleyberg, and I've got a packet for them. And I'm a little disappointed that we've only gave you those two. So I believe that things are going to improve quite a bit after we have this meeting. And the other thing is I know Mike Rizzo is working pretty hard with Rizzo to get that, and I believe that'll be a big contributor to your formula too.
Proximo.
Mike can touch on that when he gives us a report here in a minute. So I hope things get better on that.
Sure, yeah, and thank you also, Mike, for your help with a couple of those businesses that had multiple buildings and helping us get straight on which building was which. So that was great. So yeah, so that's where we are on the customized content costs. So stepping back again, big picture. At this point in time, the news is good. The benefit cost ratio is back above 1 for the overall project, and it's higher than the value that we had back in May before the discount rate changed. So we feel like we're definitely in a much better spot than we were last time that we visited with you on this. But we'd certainly like to see it get higher, especially to try to get the Greendale standalone project up above 1. It doesn't look too promising at this point, but with more of those questionnaires coming back, even if we don't get above 1 for Greendale, it's still going to help the overall score, which is obviously another objective of this. You certainly have to be above 1 to be in the game, but if we can get, the higher we can get it, the more competitive we're going to be with other projects that we're competing against. So
I think we're gonna get some participation from a couple of the Greendale businesses. The mayor, I talked to the mayor and Mike Perleberg both. They're gonna help us because we've got a couple big businesses behind the Greendale levee.
Like the flavoring place,
I know.
that candy place and the flavoring.
Oh, I'm with you. There's more than that. There's about 4 of them that, yeah, oh, I know. Catalan, yeah, I know, Tom, but we can't get our foot in there. So we're hoping they're gonna help us get in and talk to somebody. It's really not that difficult questionnaire. It's really, is it, Paul? I mean, from what I see,
I
we need
mean,
better participation.
I've been in, some of the places are just it's hard to get anybody to talk to. So, but the last time, same thing happened before on letters of support.
Yeah.
And when I asked Vince the last time, he had Anthony Smart, and now he's gonna have Hurleyburg, and they claim that, and they did the last
They
time.
did the last time.
So I'm confident that we're gonna improve on this. I'm very confident.
Should the 3 car dealers be including vehicle inventory?
We've only got 1 so
Got
far.
one.
Did they include vehicle inventory?
Hey, Berm, did you hear
We
that?
did, so Mike Gerard, we included that, correct?
Yeah, that's reflected in the Greendale benefit increase for the previous slide.
The 3 dealerships probably have $10 million worth of, inventory each.
Yes.
Well, we've got a list, though, they're on it, the businesses there in the back, side. We have a list of them, Andy, in the 2 car dealerships, because we want to try to wrap this up and get this cost benefit analysis by the end of the year, which is just about a month and a week away, or a couple weeks away, so it's really on Paul and I and the mayor and Mike, especially to help us with Proximo, right? I mean, that's huge. You need that Proximo.
Yeah, I mean, if you want me to talk about.
No, you can update it when you get up. Don't worry about it. I just want to put more pressure on
I can handle it.
you. I know you can. I know you can.
She's anxious, she wants to help.
But, great job, guys. I mean, if anyone's got any questions, I mean, I'm encouraged, at least we're in the game. We weren't even in the game before. At least we're over 1, and if we can get some more businesses in Lawrenceburg and then hit Greendale with 3 or 4 businesses, I think I'm encouraged. Anybody got any, or is there anything else, guys, not to cut you off?
Nope, that's it. That's all we got. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thanks. Good work, everybody.
Thanks,
Good work.
Yep.
What about, Satch, did we hit the gathering info, I think, under your superintendent's report? That was, I think, you and I gathering the info.
Yeah, that was all just taken care of. So let's go to Michael here.
Thanks, Berm, thanks, guys.
Well, since we were just talking
Thank you.
I'll start with Proximo since it's fresh.
Yep.
And everybody's fine. So I had
I reached out to them quite some time ago and gave them information to fill out. Well, they didn't respond, just like you're having the problems with. So I reached out again and to the director of bottling, the head guy over here in Lawrenceburg, and he's like, oh yeah, I forgot to do that. And I said, I know you're really busy. I said, but this is really important, and we really need your support. So I was pushing them on a letter of support, which they haven't done yet, and as well as this value, the lost value. So we did update a map and gave it to JMT, and then they identified the buildings, and they want them to fill that out. So and he asked me to draft up a letter of support, and he'd sign it. So I tried. So I gave that to him.
We have,
Do what?
sorry, Mike, we have a template if you want to use that.
I think I went through that as well. But I'll go back and I'll see what when he reviews it, what he adds to it, and then I might flower it up a little bit and just get him to sign it. But he committed to following up with me by tomorrow. So if I don't hear from him about midday, I'll reach out again and prod him on that. So I'm hoping, we can turn that around pretty fast.
Great.
I know that in the warehouse alone on Front Street, the numbers when I was just talking in generalities with him, the value in there is pretty staggering. And I asked him, I said, if we had a flood in that warehouse, would all that product be considered a loss? And he said, yes.
It's gone.
So it's that right there could really help the numbers. So, and I was wondering, just on a sidebar, did the Stronghold Group ever send a letter in, the restaurant group?
Letter of support.
Did they send one in? Okay. Did they also get a questionnaire?
No, because we kind of picked, we
Okay.
kind of handpicked some things in Lawrenceburg, and then, so none of the restaurants got one.
Okay. I mean, if you need that, obviously that equipment's pretty valuable.
Yeah.
When you wipe out, the restaurant. So, but if you need my help with that, I can help there too. So, and then while I'm on Proximo real quick, you guys probably recall, I've talked about it a few times. There's a project with some IDEM monitoring their outfalls. And we had talked about mounting control equipment and pulling minuscule amount of power to monitor these outfalls. That project has now officially been approved for engineering. And so we're working on that now. And so I'll probably be getting with you, Paul, and then put some stuff together and come back. And I know you approved working with them in the past, but before we, once we get more put together, I'll give you more specifics and make sure you guys are all on board with that. And also work with the city of Lawrenceburg as well.
It is correct that they put in a new well.
Do what?
Did I hear correctly that Proximo put in a new well?
They did. That was some time back. I wasn't involved in that project, but they did. Yeah. Yeah.
That was,
That was
we turned that into Mundell, that was probably over a year and a half.
I was thinking it's been a while now.
Been a while.
Yeah. And I don't know how, I don't want to get on the side notes, but so that's it for Proximo, unless you have any questions. So let me go to the gate welds and the inspections. So we've had a lot of movement on that, and thanks to Paul. Paul had a good conversation with the Corps, and the Corps has agreed that this was ridiculous amount of hoops for us to have to go through for a levee project that was built, how many years ago? In the late 30s, when the standards were different and now they want to hold us to new standards. So having said that, they were on schedule. They're going to start inspecting on Monday, and they think they'll be done by Wednesday, but you guys approved 5 days. If they need it, they'll come back the following Monday or Tuesday and finish that up. So I'm about to issue them a PO. So this is just a reminder, you already approved this, but their daily rate was $29.08, $2,908. So I'm about to issue them a PO in the amount of $14,540. They need that before they mobilize out here. So I've already talked to Paul, and between he and I, we're gonna kind of tag team and follow them around and witness what they're seeing. And then afterwards, they will issue us a report with a proposal for any repairs that need to be done. And then we'll bring that to you.
So someone from the Corps is not gonna have to be here.
Well, I think, Paul, you said you were gonna invite him, or?
The last time we made an attempt to do this, he called it off. And, after my conversation with Neil and Andrew Brooks, and I had Andy sit in on a lot of the conversation, or the one-day phone call, but what I'm gonna do is when I know these guys are here inspecting this, I'm gonna say, this Sammy guy, I'm gonna say, hey, they're here working the next 3 days, come on down and take a look. I'm not going to play that game. He can come, or we can give him the things, and we got full support of the other people, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. So, so though, I asked him, I said, so after the inspections, how long for the report and a proposal for the repairs, they thought it would be within, weeks. So it won't be too long.
And you think that could be $14,540, give or take a few cents?
They think they think they're only gonna be here 3 days.
So it'd be 2,900 times 3. So.
Yeah.
But we gave them up to.
You gave them a week.
That's fine.
I used 5 days as a week.
Get
I didn't think
thinking.
you meant the weekends. So.
And they'll have that done before the end of the year.
And after we get the report, then we're hoping in the December meeting, at least, we haven't talked about this yet.
Right.
My hope would be, I possibly might have a report to bring back in our December meeting to where we could tell and show you guys how much repair work we might need to do, and possibly a quote. If not, it could be the next month at the next meeting.
I'm pretty hopeful it will be December, but I don't hold the cards. They have to get the work done, and you get in the holidays, and you know how things go.
And here's the other thing, once we have that report, we're gonna send that report to the Corps too. So they'll review the report, and they'll get their chance to look at everything we do.
So then we might have to go, through the more hoops with them after that, but obviously they need to approve it as well.
Yeah.
Just wanted to add that their report on the needed repairs, improvements needs to be detailed enough that we can get quotes from other vendors from their report. Not just them saying, well, we think we can fix it all for you for $20,000.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough. I agree with that. I will make sure they're aware of that. Then finally, actually not finally, moving on to the gate closure for 50. So where we're at right now, and this is just crazy. You can't, to start a project, you can't just call somebody up and say, hey, we want to do this, and let's walk through the steps and let's get this started. And no, you gotta make a submission into their portal, into the NDOT portal. and then wait for them to contact you back. So we don't have a local person up here right now that you can just drive up and have a conversation with and kind of expedite things. So that's where we're at. It's probably going to be painful and slow just to prepare you, but we will do everything we can to push it through and get it ready. I mean, it's going to be a spring, probably late spring project anyway because of weather. So, and then now finally, just real brief, I don't know if Wendell's got anything to add, but I haven't seen anything come back on the seepage drainage. So my understanding is it's still in the hands of the Corps and they're still reviewing it.
So the last thing Andrew told me was, Paul, we're pretty busy. We just need a little bit more time on that. So
really nothing to report there. So and that's all I have this evening.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Could I ask a question to go back?
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm not exactly sure how this works, but they generate liquor or alcohol, okay? And then they pay the government a fee or some percentage or something.
Some kind of tax.
A tax, right. So when do they pay that tax? And if they have X dollars there that they lose, if they've already paid the tax or haven't they paid the tax, is it at risk? Because that's a big number.
You mean
So
loss
can
of
we-
tax?
A loss of the tax to the government?
That's right.
Yeah.
But the government, it's not, they can't write it off as a loss.
So
It's gone.
So they pay the tax when it comes out of bond. When it's in bond, the tax hasn't been paid. So
Okay, so all of it's at risk.
the product's at risk, but in their warehouse, it's a bonded warehouse. So
Right.
they haven't paid the tax till they put it on trucks and ship it out to an unbonded warehouse or to
Then they
distributors.
pay.
And then it gets
They
paid.
then.
Yeah.
So if they lose 50% of what's in the bonded warehouse, that's money that's not going to the government.
It's absolutely.
So that number, whatever that number is, should, even if it's just a paragraph, okay, should go in this report.
to give you an example, MGPI turned in $100 million. So it is a very large number, and we haven't got Proximo's yet, but, yeah, they turned in that much.
That cost is not broken down, so we don't know if that's included, correct?
We don't know that,
Right,
because it's
right.
not an itemized
So you'd have to ask them.
statement.
Just the inventory that they're gonna lose, plus the figure that should go to the government at some point,
Well, you'd have to ask them if they figured that in.
should be included.
Do you know, Vern?
I understand what you're saying, Tom, but I don't know, I don't know if they baked that into the 100 million. I don't know how that is, but if you provide, Mike, I don't know if there's something you can provide from Proximo that says that, we'll include that in the report for both Proximo and MGPI, to strengthen our case. Again, we're over 1.0 at this point. So I think it's all just giving us a better chance when we're competing. And from what I understand, FEMA's gonna kind of look at things and they're not gonna, it's been Mike's past experience and ours that they don't dig in too deep and they take whatever these owners and property owners are providing us, and they don't really dig in too deep and question it, right? They're taking it on us and our engineering judgment that the numbers we're including in the analysis are accurate. So I think whatever numbers we have and we put in there, and as long as we have justification for those in a paragraph to support it, like you're talking about, Tom, I think that'll be fine.
That's part of the inventory, that money going to the government. So that amount, whatever it is, can be shown in the paragraph. I think that's important because the government's gonna lose that money.
I mean, I like I like what you're saying here, because we're going to the government to help with grants. So it's protecting their money too, so that could be something valuable to bump you up the list.
And that's why we have levies anyway, right? To protect the booze, so.
That's why.
That's why we got the grant to begin with.
Good point, Tom, thanks. Okay, where we at, Satch Mondale?
Yeah, Luke?
Evening now. Let's see, so I have 4 things, just 2 things real quickly. Mike mentioned seed rooms, and Paul, we're waiting on that, the seed room warehouse drains. The Army Corps, they did their preliminary initial risk screening assessment, and that meeting was supposed to be in November, where they were gonna present it to the Army Corps' risk cadre, their like risk specialty team. That meeting got pushed back to mid-December. I just saw an email from Paul from them, December 16th or 17th, something like that. So we'll be ready to attend that meeting virtually, where they present the results to their risk cadre team. Okay, these are the 2 initial quick things, and then just a few minutes here. The last meeting, we talked about how 2 things. One is we've really been focusing on getting our final seepage model. So we've done a lot of really good work in the last 2 months, and made good progress there. And also, we've been looking at this cost planning. So in the event that we have to do this project in a kind of staged event, this relief well project and North Slope project, if we have to spread it out over several years, the question is, what might that look like? And is there a certain point as you're marching along where you're good for that 100 year? So we've been doing our final modeling, 1, just to get it done, but 2, also to try to get this rough estimate of where we can draw the line in for the 100 year, and kind of lay out this cost, how it could look. And it's more, so we did some work, and we got a spreadsheet over to Paul last week, and Paul came up on Monday up here to our office, and we had some good conversations with Paul, talking about what that could look like, and how it could be broken down over the course of 10 years. And after talking with Paul, we realized, both of us, I think it's going to be good if we can take the next week or 2 to kind of summarize what that planning could look like. There's a lot of moving pieces, and there's a lot of information, and it would be beneficial for us to kind of summarize it, working with Paul to make sure that just to kind of synthesize all the moving pieces so we can have a fruitful conversation. So like we talked about with Paul on Monday, we're going to have that ready before the meeting next month. It's already in Paul's hands. We just have to kind of clean it up, so to speak. And so we can have good conversations next month. And that's the kind of the financial aspect planning of it. And that's an important piece that's for you guys to consider, because whatever plan we present to the Army Corps, we obviously have to be on, that's from a technical perspective, but from a financial perspective, you all have to be on board too with like, okay, how how this could roll out. So we're gonna have that ready for the next meeting to talk about that. Okay, so that's that cost planning spreadsheet. And then, like I mentioned, we made good progress on our modeling over the last month. And we made good progress, which helped inform that spreadsheet. So just a quick update on this model. We've done enough now to the point where we can say we're going to be able to reuse those 10-inch casings that you've already have sitting over there. So that's we're going to be able to reuse those 10-inch and install 10-inch wells, at least enough to reuse those. So that's good cost savings there. There's going to be a reduction in relief wells like we have thought all along. So that's good news. We've confirmed that there's going to be a reduction in the overall quantity of relief wells, which is great for long-term savings. You don't have to rehab as much. And then in our modeling, we've also got a pretty good handle on what's going to be needed for the relief wells on the west, south, and east slope. There might be some kind of fine tuning, but in general, we have a good handle on that. So it really comes down to the north slope. And we've known all along it's going to be a problem area. So the good news on the north slope, just taking a step back, before in our preliminary model and just knowing all the data we've collected up there in the north slope, we knew it was going to be a challenge, and our preliminary model showed a large stretch of the north slope being a problem, which is why it was like, okay, we're probably not going to be able to resolve this with just relief wells. There might need to be something else like this cutoff wall. We've talked about that, right? So the good news with and there's kind of three factors that feed into this good news. One is we've revised the model. We've gone in and further revised it now that we're going into final design or final seepage modeling. So we revised the model. When we plug in these larger relief wells, they're performing better in the model than we expected. And then there's also a few new design approaches that the Army Corps has incorporated into their latest draft manual. And so we're considering those three things. And the good news is these problem areas on the north slope, they're still there, but they've shrunk significantly. And it's basically now just the kind of northwest corner over by those MGP tanks, where there's a really thin clay layer pretty close to the toe. And then also there's a little bit of a problem area over in the northeast corner, kind of in that ponding area. But anyways, so the good news is those extreme problem areas have shrunk, which we think it could be very possible that we can tackle those extreme problem areas with a combination of a relief well and possibly some sort of landside berm, or just like a smaller localized solution. And when I say landside berm, talking maybe like a 3 to 5 foot thick clay that you would build on top at the toe of the levee, maybe about 200 feet wide, 200 feet long. In the areas that it might need it, there might be some space to do something like that. We might still have to consider the cutoff wall just to, compare and contrast. But anyways, the overall good news is those major problem areas have kind of shrunk. They're now more local. We might be able to resolve them with a much more less intrusive solution and more cost effective. So it might save several, could be a cost savings, possibly 3 to 6 million, something like that, depending on what that final solution is. Anyways, so that's some good news on the north slope. That's where we are in the modeling world. Is we've got to really fine tune what's going on the north slope and not just look at the toe of the levee, but we have to look away from the toe of the levee a certain distance. So there's a few different ways to do that and a few different modeling approaches. We're fine tuning that, and that's what we're going to be doing over this next month. So by the time we come at the next board meeting, we'll have that spreadsheet with Paul, of like what that kind of phased out planning could look like. Where can you draw the 100-year line in the sand? And we'll have even further along on our modeling, especially on this north slope, and we'll have a much better idea of what could be possible there, given that thin clay layer. So that's where we are over this next, what we've been doing, and what we'll have, hopefully have a good conversation next month with the board here, talking about the costs. We'll have be further along on our final model, and yeah, I guess we'll have that risk screening. Is the 16th? When is that? That might be on the same day. Yeah, they'll be right before the next meeting too. So
Hey, Luke, this is Jim. So let me make sure I got this, because John's not on the phone. So you're committing to us that next meeting, you're gonna have this relief well idea or project, and then a timeline when we're gonna meet the 100-year, because wouldn't we then be FEMA certified? I mean, we would have a recertification. I'm making all this up, but I'm not really. We're gonna know, because we gotta figure out, you said this, how much is this gonna cost? Because once we start on this project, we're gonna have to follow through, right? We can't stop once we get to the 100-year, can we?
what was that last? I didn't catch the last couple words you said.
No,
Oh, we can't stop at the 100-year.
I just meant once we start down this road, we've got to have some pretty good numbers. I mean, because we can't run out of money, you know.
Right.
So we're gonna have.
So, yep,
Okay.
you'll have that, and
I'll
it'll
make
be
a note
a pretty
of it.
good idea, and what we're doing the design for the top of levee for Army Corps purposes. But then, you know, we'll know when you're good for the 100-year, how
Right.
many relief wells you'll need. We'll have them in our model. We've already been placing them, like, okay, this is where the new relief wells will be. So we have that in our model. And that's what we used to inform this spreadsheet that we gave Paul. And then you can also, there's a lot of other conversations.
That spreadsheet is only gonna be as good as what you guys decide to make in decisions. In other words, Luke's gonna come in here in December, and he's gonna lay out a calendar, just like you've always asked him, Luke, when are you gonna get this done? When are you gonna get this done? Luke's gonna give you a schedule and ask you when you're gonna make the decisions and how you're gonna make them, so that he can take his next step and know which direction he's gonna go. So that's what you can count on happening in December. And then once you guys make that decision, that there will be a decision to make, then we're gonna know how to move forward. And Luke, I'm pretty sure I said that right. You're gonna give them a calendar of events that's gonna include FEMA, the Corps of Engineers, you guys having to vote on something. And at that point, they've got to create a whole new presentation to the Corps. Once you say, hey, and I'm just saying this, once we want to go with the berm you talked about and the extra 5 relief wells. That's the route we want to go. Then he's going to know what to pencil in there. So we're going to count on you guys to do your research and make a vote here real soon.
So how are you coming up with these costs? I mean, I guess are you doing like an engineering estimate or something? So is that, I mean, you know how much it costs to put a well in and take the old one out? Because that'd be critical that we have, and I know numbers are gonna change, but it seems like as we go further down this project, it would get cheaper because we know better what we're doing after we get 5 or 10 wells in. You think it would get cheaper? It won't, I don't think it will, but I'm thinking, I hope it does.
I don't know if cheaper is the right word, or more precise in what we're spending.
Details?
We're gonna have more knowledge of what it's gonna cost us. From every time you do this, it depends on how busy the contractors are, how many people we can get to bid it. There's just different factors. I'm hoping we can get 3 or 4 people to bid the project.
You're talking about a project that's gonna last 10 years.
Yeah.
So
Shouldn't
the
be
prices
on
going
both.
down are not necessary.
Oh. But we're gonna be able to use these these pipes we have that we've already paid for, that's sitting over at the city building. Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
That was millions we paid for that.
Yes.
I say we loosely, I wasn't here.
Well,
Millions.
no, it wasn't me. I'd say 500,000 maybe.
None of it's screened, it's all just pipe.
There's other material we have to buy for sure.
Okay,
It's just casing.
but we're gonna be able to use what we've had sitting over there for 10 years.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's been a while.
Well, I've been here 10 and it was before that, so it was,
Actually, I got here in 2012.
I'm just saying, it was bought before I started and,
No, you're right.
I mean, it's been,
It's
okay,
been 13, probably 15 years.
okay, good, good. Okay.
Can I ask a question, Luke? Are these projects outside of the scope of what's included in the grant funding, money?
No.
Or is this part of that?
No, it's the same, so the grant funding, we separated, we had relief well project and North Slope slurry wall project. So it's still the same relief. We're still doing relief wells, and then the slurry wall that we included in the grant, that's the North Slope solution. So it's possible that, that money we have for the slurry wall is probably gonna be less because we probably won't need as extensive solution for that slurry wall. But, we'll know that answer here, soon.
But yes, to answer your question, Vern, all of this project is part of the grant.
Yes.
And the reason, Berm, I think what you're thinking is you guys know, right now, you guys know what you need to do in Greendale, at least in your minds, you know. However, we still have to turn your project into FEMA. We have not come to a conclusion yet in Lawrenceburg that all their modeling, we're still in we're still exploring what we have to do in Lawrenceburg. We don't know yet. So that's what you're hearing right now.
I guess I was, yeah, that's right. And sounds like the cost will go down, which is good because we've already got the 25% match locked in. So if it goes higher than the 25 million, then we gotta figure that out as soon as possible.
No, if anything, it's gonna be less.
Less, okay. So that's better than being more. And then I guess my other question was, it sounded to me like some of these might be advanced, and I guess maybe not, maybe that's just me mishearing, but if those projects ended up happening outside of the grant process, potentially lose those benefits, which would then potentially drop. You would take those projects out and our BCA would go below 1 then for Greendale. So just things to consider as you guys move forward.
Yeah. No, I think that plan I was talking about, it's kind of just, I think basically you go for the whole project in one lump sum, all with grants. But if by chance we have to piece this out, or if FEMA comes, and you can't, the grants money is not there for the FEMA, what would it take? It's more kind of scheming, in that sense. And also maybe you can get grants, but maybe it's kind of piecemeal. You get 6 million here and 6 million there. What parts of this project would you do? So we're planning for the whole thing, but if you get grants that kind of piecemeal it along the way, this is the first set of 10 that you do of relief wells, this is the next set of 10. And then you get those first 2 grants, you're good for the FEMA 100 year. Okay, now you plan for the next set. So it's basically figuring out how this could be broken out depending on what kind of grants you get, that kind of thing. But obviously if you get all of the grant, then you can just do it all at once.
So Berm, I got a question for you. how, let's say, for instance, that we get a little pressure put on us and we, you know, FEMA says, well, where you at? You know, are you planning on waiting for a grant because we want this all decided by a certain date? So my question to you is how does us doing a year worth of work and putting, let's say 8 to 10 relief wells in and spending $2 million affect, tell me how that affects cost benefit analysis formula. I don't.
Well, it's a good question. As long as it's part of the comprehensive plan and it's being phased in, I think it's still part of the overall package. I think what could hurt us is if it gets broken out and then those projects are complete and then we're not able to use those benefits anymore in the future when we go after a grant application. So we still have to look at it. You guys are the owner, operator, and the maintainer of all these systems. We gotta still keep this as a combined project. And anything that happens is still part of that combined project, and we can't parse it out
But that
at the
project will
detriment
not,
of the benefit cost.
that project will not be complete until we have this over here to the 500-year protection level. I mean, it's just a portion of a complete project. It would be 1/10 of the project. So I mean,
Yeah,
that's worth further conversation. I just, you know.
Yeah, I think so. When I was hearing what you were saying, it just sounded to me like you were getting ready to maybe break some of the Lawrenceburg improvements out from the overall combined approach that we have now. And so I think we just need to think through that and make sure I understand and you know, me and Luke are on the same page with you guys as to what that looks like.
Okay. We can set up some type of a meeting and talk about that.
I think we should sit down and talk about that, what we've been thinking too. I mean,
Yeah, that's
you
fine.
and I have talked about,
Yeah,
we can't wait too long if we start to get pressure.
well, we're supposed to have a meeting, and they said in an email, FEMA did.
Yep.
When we have this meeting, we're gonna ask where you guys are at. You know, what have you done? And I think this is, what the conversations we're having now are definitely progress. They're not, we don't have, well, we're waiting on getting a grant,
Yeah.
you know? So this is something we need to talk about, so you two can think about it, and when you're ready to talk, we'll talk. All right, cause there's obviously questions that, Berm, you wanna ask, and things that we wanna be able to answer.
That's good.
What else you got, Luke?
That's all.
Thanks, Luke.
All right, Luke.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, Vern.
Thanks, guys. Yeah,
Okay,
appreciate
Seth,
it.
let's move to the community athletics part. I think that's next on the agenda.
You might.
Yeah, see, Mike.
So what I got wrote on there is side by side bill of sale. I don't know if I worded it right or not, but my only question is I'm ready to give that away, but I don't want to do it unless I do it the right way that you want me to. Is there a certain, do I just take it over there and say, here it is, it's yours, or?
So I got a bill of sale form. The one thing, just fill out, just get some information. Who are we selling to, by the way? Are we just giving it to Lawrenceburg?
Give us this high school.
High school.
Yeah.
So I put Lawrenceburg High School in there. I pulled it up. Yeah, I had it done. You just have to have them sign it, Paul, and just fill in the bin, and then that way we get a copy, they get a copy. Why we want to do a bill of sales, because it kind of indemnifies us if the thing breaks. You know, basically it's as is, where is, you know, so they can't come back and go, hey, you gave us.
Someone got hurt on it.
Somebody got hurt on
Yeah.
it, it's yours. You do all your inspection you want to.
I think he's ready to do that, so if you
I
can get
got it.
that.
I'll email it to you. right now.
But me or Heather,
I thought we were hanging on to it through the winter because the blade attachment was.
I'm glad you asked that because, we thought, they told me that
They
we
being the
couldn't mount it
guys.
on the new one. So I was gonna wait until they mounted it on the old one, I wanted to look at it, cause I really didn't wanna buy another snowplow. But Danny took it upon himself to go back there and he's retrofitted it to the new one, it looks great, it'll work.
Okay.
And that's why, Randy, because right now it's mounted on one of the new ones.
Okay, that's fine. I just thought that's what we were planning.
That's the only reason why I wanted to keep it all in.
Okay.
So he did a great job. He did some welding and fitting, and he did a good job on it. So Jerry will send that. So the next thing I have is, we're gonna talk here about some AED things. And I think everybody knows there was a incident in the park a month and a half ago. And I had a meeting with Johnny Tremaine, and then Pat Meyer came over and talked to him a little bit. And, you know, hey, we've had people contact us. So what I've got in front of you guys is some pricing on AEDs. And Pat and Johnny has recommended that we should have one in this building. And we looked at the park and we think that in the main concession stand, there's a closet that we could mount one in. And then also in the far concession stand, we could put one out there if you guys would choose to. That's what I think and Pat thinks. I think that would be a good setup for the park. We could go back to one in the park and only buy two if you wanted, but I'm asking you tonight if you think, or any questions, if you think we should buy any, 2 or 3 or none, or I'm putting it before you. And asking questions if anybody has any questions.
Are those concession stands always open where?
No, on this side of the concession stand, Dave, there is a closet. And what I would do would be, there's 2 different kind of boxes. There's an outdoor box there that you notice, it's about what, $1,200. And then there's another box for $200. There's 2 ways to do it. We could mount it outside and spend that kind of money, or I can buy what I would call a realtor's lock box, push a combination that would have a key to that closet door. They would open it, and then they would have access to that other style of box that's not made for outdoors, and it does not lock up, and people would be able to grab it and have it there. That's an option. Now, in doing that, I was gonna have Marty make up some signage that identified that location on the things here. And I thought in the hallway here in the building is where I would mount this one. So if that answers you.
Yeah, I like the idea of that outdoor box. Does any of this stuff need Wi-Fi to be fully operational? I see that.
No, it's got options, Dave.
Okay.
And basically, the only question I would have is if we mount it outside, depending on how we mount it, is it really that secure? I don't know. You're gonna anchor it to block and you've got a pretty good investment there. I don't know,
You think someone could steal it, you mean, Sat? You didn't want to say that, but I'll say.
I would
Take
think-
it right off that block.
Sure they could
I would
swim.
think a crowbar, if
Yeah.
I really wanted to, a nice sized crowbar, I could have it in about, Mike, 2 minutes?
Probably less.
Pretty quick.
Okay.
That's my only,
If it's not an issue of getting to it when you need it,
Right.
that's always the big issue, making sure that
It's
when
available.
somebody needs it,
Yep.
they can get in that door and they can get into that. Because it doesn't do you any good if you can't.
Right, you have to have
Access it
signs
quick.
there stating call 911 to get the code and hopefully.
Well, no, that's,
911 dispatcher.
that's an option. And our 911 service doesn't, it's not capable of doing that. Pat told me that.
Yeah.
So what you're looking at on, and I read it too, it says that on there, call 911 for the code. But we would have to make the code known to the important people and have that code to where if somebody called me, yeah, it's.
You're also dependent on phone reception and all that stuff. I mean.
That, Pat didn't like the Wi-Fi because, hey, when you need it, you might not have it.
Yeah,
Yeah. If, I like the idea of getting them, but another thing, did the fire department say they would, I think they have to do annual checks or monthly checks. Did they say they could do that for us? Cause I think they do it.
Nah, they did tell me that we need to make sure they're always operational and that the batteries are supposed to last 5 years.
Okay.
You test the batteries and the thing will start making noise when it needs a new battery. Now, he did not say that he would check it. I'm sure they would if we wanted, but me and the guys have talked. It's not something that we can just put away and then not check. They need to check it every 2 months or month or so.
Right, the Life Squad or fire department comes around,
That's what I
all the
thought.
ones in Lawrenceburg, and they check them, they replace the pads inside them once a year or whatever.
They're doing that process right now, actually. They've ordered a bunch of parts. And I'm sure if I said, hey, if you guys would check out my part, just, you're the experts.
I'd feel a little more comfortable with an expert or a company that does that. I know there's fire extinguisher companies that go around.
Yeah, they're on Monday, exactly.
You know, they, rather than put that on our crew, I'd rather have people that, it's obviously very important.
Yeah. But what I'm looking for tonight is,
Well, how many do we, I mean, I think
I'd like to get all three,
I would too,
you know, but
but I don't know which way.
like Mike said, it's, we gotta be able to get to it.
And avoid them getting stolen or vandalized.
What about, I mean, I know cameras don't keep people from stealing stuff, but.
If we got the one for here, when's the next group of activities gonna start on the fields? I mean, are we
well,
waiting
you
for
got
spring
soccer going, believe it or not.
now?
Yeah. I don't think they quit.
They're practicing
Yeah.
the one that's outside one, is it the keypad that somebody can get into it fairly quick?
Well, same as the realtor box, it'll work that way.
Right. What about getting an exterior one, but putting it on the inside so that they can access that?
Well, then you got to,
Get 'em in.
you're still gonna have to have a realtor's key to open the door that it's behind.
Because they lock that, Mike, they lock that.
We lock everything.
All winter, yeah, pretty much all winter's gonna be.
All-
locked
All
down.
No,
summer,
all summer.
all summer, it's never open.
Right.
Right, Zach? I mean,
You're right.
so we have to,
So in other words, Mike, the way you're saying is the first thing they'd have to do would be to open the door with the key to get in that room, and now they got a combination to open the other lock one.
I don't think we can put one outside though, it's gonna be safe. It's not gonna be ripped off.
I think so too.
It's true. Unfortunate, but it's true.
Yeah.
so,
I've got it all the way in the back, we've got a room, the little concession stand that we can mount it in. And then they only have to open that door. So we would have to mount a realtor, they're probably $50, $75.
you're talking about a touchpad, that's like 6'6" and.
Yeah.
Code, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, something we'd mount on the wall that would have a key in it when it fell apart, and then they'd open the door, and then they'd be able to grab that out of that one box.
I've got two areas that me and Rick and Jared have talked about. We think those are pretty good areas that would, definitely keep them from being.
How would they obtain the number
Coach, right?
to get in?
I would say that we would post it on the website, as far as to our people that are renting the fields and being there, the coaches. And I'll just use Sherry Warren for an example. Sherry, you're gonna have your different people using and scheduling this field. So if they schedule a field, they're gonna have this combination that they know how to get in that box. And there is a certain factor of trust in buying these, because once it's open, then I don't know how many times somebody's gonna pass out that combination.
It'll be passed out.
I just wanna make sure this is not, like the Denny Lewis fields, those are all key locked or whatchamacallit, and how many people have keys to that without theft and everything else like that, so. And they got good stuff there, by the way.
They can change the code periodically,
Yeah.
and just let them know, every
Well, the
year.
2 rooms that we're putting these in don't have any other valuables in them.
Somebody would have to be shopping for AEDs or whatever.
That's the only reason why they would even go in those 2 rooms, is because to get at that AED.
So if we decided we're not going to put them, we don't think the outside's a good idea.
Right.
So then we're gonna do it inside, we're gonna get 3 of them, and we're gonna let Paul make sure he does it the right way.
That's great.
Okay, so
I'll make a motion, we get 3 AEDs and 3
Interior.
of the interior boxes.
Second.
okay, we got a first to buy 3 in the boxes, a first by Dave, a second by Andy. All in favor? Anyone opposed?
I just have a question. This is to the attorney. What happens if something horrible happens, which we don't want to happen, and somehow, some way, we don't have access to get in there?
You're kind of stealing my thunder, I was gonna make a big
Yeah.
speech about this.
Okay.
But,
I've got another one to add to
go
it.
ahead.
What if the person doesn't know how to use it?
Right. What if-
Well, I think they're fully automatic,
They're
but
selfish.
what if they were able to get it out, battery's dead?
Got it. So.
Then what, it's like,
Yeah, so what it is there's no liability, there's no duty for us to provide this AED, period. We're doing it because we've seen an issue. We're also doing it because, by God, the board's old and we need heart more. But here's the big thing. We are protected by what they call the Indiana Recreational Area Statute. And what it is that if you're using our fields for recreational purposes in Indiana, you're a government agency, you do not have any liability for someone to get hurt. Now, that doesn't cover, gross misconduct, intentional misconduct, or extremely dangerous stuff. But, somebody having a heart attack on the field, they're taking this property at their own risk. They're using our property for their purposes. We have no liability whatsoever. So your next question is, well, what happens if the darn thing's not monitored? Absolutely nothing. We are still protected. This is a gratuitous safety device. I mean, you're bringing it up. I mean, imagine you're using the thing's not working, right? It's negligence, but it's not gross negligence. And also, we don't have any duty to provide this material. Now, the law may change someday, but right now, we're protected. This is not necessary, but I think it's a good idea to protect use and other people in the stands. We do know there's, heck, I've been down here, at least 200, 300 people in the stands in some of these girls softball games, soccer, we got the foot of rumble. I mean, you can get some crowds down here. So it's not a bad idea to have it down here.
Well, I think it's obvious everybody on the board wants to have it. If we can make a difference and save somebody, that's great. I will say, since 911 doesn't do whatever we were talking about with them, the police department at Lawrenceburg, they have someone on duty there, dispatcher, in the mornings and in the afternoons. We could give that number to them and post I'm sure they would be more than happy to give that out.
So call police
Yeah.
dispatch.
Call
or
dispatch.
If
combination.
nobody has the combination.
Well,
That's a
and
good
I think
idea.
if somebody's using the AED, they're gonna need medical care, so I think it's a good idea to tell people, you don't just need the code for the AED. You need to be calling 911 while
Well,
you're walking over there,
Hopefully, somebody will do that long
Yeah.
term.
so that even if it's not working, the 911 is
Right,
already
right,
on the
right.
way.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a great question. How about also, I wanted to ask, Channel 9 has reached out to us a couple times on
Channel 5.
Channel 5. And recently it had emailed Paul and I again, asking questions. When it first happened, they asked us, talk to Jared. And then now they've asked me again, have you considered buying AEDs? Didn't answer them because I wasn't gonna say it, because we didn't say we would. I knew we would, was pretty sure we would do it. Do you care if we make a response to Channel that we've approved the purchase?
I think Jared should make a response and tell them, yeah, we don't have to do these things, but we unanimously did these things.
That's a good response.
Okay? Jared, you kind of worked on one and that held back. Jared's working on a response.
Okay.
I might want to shorten your response a little bit. It was good, but maybe sound indirect.
Direct them to.
Well, I kept calling them Channel 9, they kept getting mad.
Oh, no, they were on our field and they went down and interviewed, I don't know if you saw, interviewed the policeman that saved the young boy or using it. Okay, so Jared, would you work on that
Done.
and then help Paul? you'll
Just
get-
looking real quick, it says the recommended checks on those are just a monthly visual check to make sure that the light is green, which tells you that the thing is, battery's good, it's ready to use. And check the pads that they're not expired, and that it's clean and accessible, once a month. So it should be a checklist there, and it'd be great if Lawrenceburg could perform that for us when they do the other 15 that they do anyway.
That's a good,
I'm sure they come over.
good idea. And then our guys wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Right.
I think people would do it every day.
Okay. Great conversation, great, thanks. How about Saks concession stand renew?
Yeah, Sherry's very interested in having the concession stand next year. And the reason why I put it on there is because I just wanted to ask you guys, is it okay?
No complaint, she's doing it, she pays us $2,500 a year to do it.
She'll be giving us a check sometime, I would think in January, something like that. Because right about now is when I'll start looking at the calendar and then giving something to Heather that says, hey, this group of people owes us $150 and how much ever I figure out on that. So
Nobody else has ever showed any interest.
years ago, we put it out and everybody that came in wanted us to pay them. So,
No.
Sherry's the only one that's.
I'd say everything's good. I'll
And the
make a
only-
motion to continue.
Does she sign something, Satch? I mean, because remember, did we buy her a popcorn machine, or she's responsible for everything in there, or I'm just bringing that up. Jared, did
We don't have any lease agreement.
we don't have anything signed?
Why do you want one?
I don't think we do either. I mean,
So I meant, but didn't we just replace something for her, bought her something?
We did. a couple
Every
years
year,
ago.
yeah.
I'm just
every
saying,
year I
that's the
do.
only reason why she said she wants a new snow
Mike,
cone
I don't
machine.
think
We gonna
we
buy it
bought
for her?
that, did she buy it?
don't
I think it was asked of us. and then-
Did we not buy it, Mike?
I can't remember.
All right, bad
Yeah.
question. Let's move on. Okay, we won't get something signed, but we want her 2,500. Jared. Okay, go ahead. Speaking of the field, Satch, or maybe let's let Jared handle this
Yeah, so-
report of an accident in football.
So, got the info from Paul, Court called it, and his guy saw it, basically somebody fell on looks like a broken gate, is that what we believe it is, Paul? Some
When
kind
the
of,
gate swings open, there's a pole that's up about this tall. And it's got it's got like an attachment on it that the gate will swing over and then it'll drag. And at some point, that pole got bent. And then it looked like it got ran over because it was down in the ground a lot. And you can go look at the others. Every gate's pretty much got one of those on it. And the lady was walking and she tripped on it and fell on it and cut herself. And there's an email.
We have all the details. She had just got out of the hospital.
Yeah.
And she had, I don't know, she didn't have a stroke or something. But I mean, she was in the
A
hospital.
week and a half before.
A week and a half before she fell, she was in the hospital. Right, Jerry?
That's the information I.
Well, I know, that's the same one, we're all reading from the same book, but I'm just saying, so I think I just wanted everyone,
What I've done to now, me and Jared's talked, is I did pull it out, we filled it in, cleaned it up, took the markers and everything down. I also took pictures and things that I believe Heather sent to you.
Yep, got it.
And I also made a packet, and I went over and talked to Terry at CISIS. And I said, look, I don't know whether you'll get a call or we'll call you, but I wanted to make you aware somebody did fall. In case you get a call, it won't be a surprise. I took pictures. I took her over the email chain of, that Heather has gotten received. And that's just where we're at. We haven't heard anything.
no, I'm just, and they did report it to the,
There was a
to the
police
foot,
report.
well, there's a police report, and then they did talk to our football group, which we're going to address their response the next time they come in.
We cooperate with them and turn it over to insurance. It's their business.
That's it. And I just want to make sure you guys understand liability. Once again, if you're here on our property for recreational purposes, we are completely insulated from liability. Actually, me, Heather, and then our engineers, we're the most dangerous people on your property because I'm not here for recreation. I have a good time here. But like I said, when you have a business invitee on here, the liability is different.
Right.
If that makes sense. But if you're here watching a football game, soccer game, you're participating in a soccer game, we are wholeheartedly protected.
Taking
Walking.
bike ride.
That there's two different statutes on hiking. The hiking one's fully covered in even a greater dimension. So really what we got Paul, and Paul of course handled this perfectly. He's got the pictures, contact the insurance company. That's exactly our process. The issue of course is that we should always be, see something, say something, you see a hazard. I mean, we do have a duty, if not a legal duty that we're gonna get sued, we have a duty to just make sure people aren't getting hurt, so, this one's a little screwball. Is it hidden? Is it not hidden? It's hard to tell from the pictures or whatnot, but, this is one of those weird ones that, I'm not sure if an inspection would have caught it, we would have seen it, but I don't know if somebody would say it's so obvious, is it god awful dangerous? Like, I don't know, but
Did she trip and fall on it, or did she trip over it and fell into something else, or?
I don't really know.
we don't know. But anyway, that's it, guys. Just let's keep it, make sure you see something, say something.
So what about the other poles where you say the other gates? Are they okay? And can you see them? You said that one of these poles are on every gate. Are they all pretty straight up and you can see them, Touch?
Yeah.
Okay, good enough.
Somebody can trip over them.
Well, but we should have them, should we? I mean,
Yeah, I think so. They're part of the gate.
Maybe a code yellow paint on them sometime.
okay. Okay, let's move on to the secretary report.
I do got one question. If I get a call concerning this, should I call you or insurance or direct them to you?
Call me. Yeah.
Okay.
And so what, just so you guys know what they gotta do, to even begin suing us, they have to do what they call a tort notice.
Okay.
Right, so that's the next thing you'll see if anything happens. And so she's got about 6 months on it, so.
Okay. All right. That's all, yeah.
Okay, Heather, upcoming.
We spoke to them, so we'll have a new contract.
Yeah, I guess more is we had a really good, and I don't know if I told it, we had a really good conversation with Reedy, and Heather volunteered to take over more work from Reedy, and you'll see some savings in the upcoming contract that we'll be signing. We're gonna bring it up in next month. But Heather did, as usual, did a great job with Reedy. Election report, Jared.
Excellent, guys. Okay, so the annual meeting's happening on the 12th, pursuant to statute. At this meeting, I would ask that the board motion to set the annual meeting on January 12th. And so I'll call for that motion now.
I'll make that.
I got a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. So the meeting will happen, that's where the election will occur. Right now I got one nomination in already. Mr. Randy Tyler's in. Still waiting on, I think, 2 other ones that are interested in it. So we may have 3 total, possibly. Like I said, if you know anybody else wants to run, December 1st is a cutoff. So we're coming very close to that date right now. Does anybody have any questions about the election process or anything else like that?
Are we starting that meeting at 6:30 PM?
Good question.
Probably need to
That's what
wait
we've
for
done.
people to get off work so they can.
Well, we usually,
We usually do 6:30.
Yeah.
We have to open it up.
I apologize. Can I ask for an amendment to mine? Thanks, Dave. I forgot to set the time. Motion to amend.
I'll make a motion to amend
Okay.
to
Second.
6:30.
All in favor?
aye.
All right. Thank you, guys.
So we start at 6:30 and then is it an hour? I can't remember.
It's till we do the math, really, Jim. It's like 6:30 is where we be. Oh, the 6:30 to 7:30 is our.
Yeah, the voting, yeah.
Yeah, and then
Okay,
In person.
yeah, 6:30 to 7:30 voting, in-person voting.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Jared. How about, let's move to the Finance Committee. Reedy's monthly report, guys, Heather again is really watching this closely. We're under budget. You know, we budgeted for 2025, 3,968,000. We spent the expenditures through October 31st, 2 million, so we still have about $1,965,000 still. So we're way under budget, but we haven't had any, we budget for projects and we try to put things in there. We just haven't. It sounds like we may have something coming in late 26, early 27, maybe, possibly. The reconciliation report, I took a look at that, signed off on that with Heather's help. The results of the CD, I wanted to go over this. Heather, when I say we, the Finance Committee, myself, Greg, and Andy sent out bids to reinvest $5 million in different maturities, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we awarded we put all 5 million in 5 years at 4%. So we got, and you'll see in there, you'll see all the different bids that came in and what bank, she put everything in there. I think the 4% is just a little bit under our annualized yield, but not a whole lot. 430, 421 or something like that. I'm doing it from memory. But really, we lengthened out our term for 5 years and got 4%. And we're gonna bid out one more in December. We're gonna do another 3 million, I think.
We've got 2 that just matured. and
Right.
We've got another one, also another
3, yeah. So because I want to try to get all of our CDs out and invested, so we'll have an idea on our cash flow for our interest, but, thanks, Greg and Andy for that meeting. So how about, do I have a motion to ratify, isn't that how we do it? I mean,
good motion.
a motion
To ratify, it's to ratify and confirm.
ratify and confirm this meeting, investment meeting.
Well, I'll make that motion.
I got a first by Greg, second.
Second.
Second by Andy, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Let's move to, union contracts. So, Randy's the chair of, of the personnel committee, so go ahead, Randy.
Yeah, we discussed it the other day. I just wondered if there was any other questions before we ratify it. Approve it? No?
I have none.
All right, we're,
I'll make a motion, we approve the union contract for the next 4 years then.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Okay, then we'll get Dave we'll get that contract signed here in the next week or so, Dave, you think?
I would do whatever you want.
Okay.
Great.
I would like to especially thank Jim and Dave, because I was gone a number of meetings due to my knee surgery, so thank you.
Now, Jared got us started, as I said, on the contract negotiation group. Dave did a heck of a lot of typing and printing and using his ink and his time, a lot of time. The rest of us are all retired except him and Mike. Everybody else is retired, but Dave put in a lot of time on that. So thanks, Dave. With that, I adjourn the meeting. Andy, was there anything in there?
I was still.
No, you can take it if they're keeping, if they're